Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome on board Waypoints Aviation. Thank you so much. And today we're celebrating because we finally crossed over 500 subscribers. And I just want to say a personal thank you to every single one of you who have taken the time to like and comment and subscribe and just engage with us on YouTube, and it's just been absolutely brilliant, and we couldn't have done this without your help. So big hats off to you guys and thank you so much. And I sent out a poll on the internet. I did it on Instagram, I also did it on YouTube, and I asked you guys that what did you think if we were to take this Airbus A320 around the world, continent by continent, city by city? And every single person that decided to take part in the poll said yes, why not? So given that the response was great, we decided, okay, we're going to launch a new series starting today. In this video, we're going to go around the world. I'm going to take this Airbus A320 from Dubai to every single city, well, every single capital city in every single country, in every single continent. And so it's safe to say that if you keep watching, then and you like and subscribe to our channel, for sure you're gonna get to see us land an Airbus A320 in every single airport that we can. All right, it's going to be done with real world procedures, and to the best that we can, we're going to try and do it in real time as well. So I will be showing you the whole startup procedures. I will show you how to program the flight plan that we're doing in the MCDU. I am going to be using Microsoft flight simulators built-in ATC to guide me as I fly along, and I will also be using the assistive co-pilot to work the radio. So that way I can kind of show you how we do the flight, you know, with one person handling the radio, and I will be pilot flying for all of this, for the whole thing. Quiet, Siri, she always disturbs me. So now what I did was, basically I went on the internet, and with the whole craze of AI going on right now all over the world, I literally went onto the internet and I asked ChatGPT to program a flight plan for me, or to give me a route. So the first thing I did was I actually went onto ChatGPT and I asked it how many countries are there in the world, and it gave me this. It says there's 195 countries in the world. Okay, that would mean there's 195 capital cities. Okay, so then I went on to ask it how many continents are there in the world, and it said that. So now I know that there's quite a few continents. All right, so then I asked it to give me a list of the countries in the Middle East, because that's where I am and I'm going to start from the Middle East. And it basically gave me an entire list of all the countries that are there in the Middle East. So now, having done that, I then asked it to give me a route plan to fly to every single capital city in the Middle East, starting from Dubai in an Airbus A320. And sure enough, what it did was, once I had given it all my parameters, it basically just gave me this. A complete route that takes me from Dubai to Muscat to Sana'a in Yemen, Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, so on and so forth, ending my Middle East tour in Morocco. Now once I get to Morocco, we'll have a choice whether we can go up to Europe or we go down, whether we head north towards Europe or we head south into the Africas. And that will be a decision you guys are going to have to make as we get there. So sit back, relax, and join me on this trip as we go around the world in an Airbus A320. I did search YouTube and I couldn't find anything. I could be wrong, but I don't think this has been done before. So let's make history, shall we? And let's get right into it. And just for the record, every single flight that I do, in the description below, you will find a link where you will be able to download the flight plan that I use and every Jeppesen plate that I use as well. And you'll be able to use that to follow along with me on your own flight simulators. So there will be a PDF that you could download that will have the flight plan and also the Jeppesen maps. So that's just something I'm gonna help to give back to you guys. And yeah, let's get right into it, shall we? All right, so we're here in Dubai International Airport, gate Foxtrot 9, my usual gate, my usual airport. And this will be the last time I see Dubai for a while, because taking this aircraft from here going all the way around the world. So it's cold and dark right now, and if you haven't if you want to see a tutorial on how to do a cold and dark startup, I'll leave a link in the description below. Please feel free to have a look at that if you like. And what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to very quickly just get the aircraft going. First thing we want to do is check the battery levels. Got 26.3, 25.7. Going to switch on battery number 1 and battery number 2. Alright, that's going to get some electricity going into the airplane. And now that I have external power, I'm going to go ahead and hit external power, get some lights going, get my screens running. Here we go. All screens are coming to life. And now we're just going to start doing our checks. So I just want to let the whole system boot up, and then I can go ahead and do my APU fire test, start the APU. And then basically just, you know, extinguish all the white lights that I have overhead, and then I'm gonna jump into the flight plan. And once I jumped into the flight plan and I've confirmed the flight plan, then I'm gonna come back, program it, and then we're gonna go ahead and receive IFR clearance and get out of here. So let's see, let's take it from there. All right, all systems have booted up, so now we're just gonna go ahead. I'm gonna start here, put the nav logo lights on. And basically we start from here. So crew supply on, ground controller on. Gonna do a quick CVR test. There's my sound. CVR test is good. Coming up, captain purser there. All 3 nav switches, all 3 IRS switches, nav. Logo on, lights on. They're still loading cargo and passengers, so I'm gonna leave seatbelt signs off. No smoking on. Emergency lights to arm. Coming all the way up here, all good over here for now. Extinguishing the white lights on the fuel panel, and then coming up here, I'm going to do an APU fire test. So APU fire test, all systems look good. Release, and now I can go ahead and start the APU. Gonna get the master on, and then hold down the starter for 3 seconds. 2, 3. Okay, it's gonna bring up the APU page, and then that's gonna help me start the APU. Once the APU starts, I'm gonna get the APU bleed going and get some nice cool air conditioning on board the aircraft. So let's jump into the flight plan, and let's plan this flight, and then let's take it from there. All right, see you on the flight plan page. Okay, so here's the flight plan that we have for today. And as you can see, it starts off in Dubai, obviously. We are Waypoints Aviation 320 Dubai, going to Oman, and then we're going to keep Fujairah as our alternate. There's Fujairah right over there, and of course that's the route we're going to be taking. Our registration is Alpha 6 Alpha Mike November, and we're looking to do, this is like an hour and 5 minutes flight. I think it's going to be a lot less than that. Cruising at flight level 210 today is what we've requested, with a cost index of 25. Looks like we're going to do 270 nautical miles. And yep, that's looking pretty much it. So our zero fuel weight today is going to be 51,727 kilos. And going to carry about 6,715 kilos of fuel on board the aircraft. So that's what we have as in terms of a flight. Now our routing is going to be taking off from runway 30 left on the Anvic 7 Foxtrot, and then onto the Lima 223 airway, where we exit at Tardy, November 629 airway, then to Muscat. We'll then get onto the Tango 511 airway and fly directly to Muscat. Once we get to Muscat, we're going to be pretty much right over the airport, and where we're expecting an ILS for runway 08 left. That could change, and we're gonna see all of that live, you know, when we're in the cockpit. So yeah, that's pretty much our flight plan. I will leave this I will leave this on the screen at the time when I'm programming the MCDU, so you can follow along and see how I program all of this in. All right, let's get back to the cockpit and continue on with setting up this flight. All right, back in the cockpit. I've got the APU running. APU bleeds on as well, as you can see right over there. If I bring up the bleed page, you can see I've got the APU bleed going, and on the air conditioning, the aircraft is nicely getting cooled, so that's looking good for us. And one of the first things we always want to do before we depart anywhere is we want to take on the clearance. Before the clearance, I want to make sure I've got my current ATIS information. So the frequency for ATIS in Dubai is 126.275. So I'm literally going to come here. I'm going to select VHF1 to listen to and VHF1 to transmit on, and I'm going to go 126.275, and I'm going to transfer, and we're going to get our ATIS.
Dubai Airport information Alpha 0800 Zulu. 1268 at 9er. Visibility, tree. Sky condition, clear. Temperature, tree 9er. Dew point, 10. QNH 29er decimal 80. ILS runway, tree 0 right and ILS runway, tree 0 left in use. Landing and departing runway, tree 0 right and runway, tree 0 left. VFR aircraft, say direction of flight. All aircraft read back fold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact, you have Alpha.
All right, so transferring over there, and we've got information Alpha. So the temperature is 39 degrees. QNH today, they gave me the QNH in millibars, but I just did a quick conversion to hectopascals. I just dialed this, put the millibars that they give me, and then I just flicked it back. So that's a little hack that I use. So the QNH is 1009er, and it's still set up, and we've got information Alpha. So winds are apparently 268 knots. Okay, so that's pretty much the weather that we have. Information Alpha. Now it's going to contact them and get our ATC clearance.
14,000 feet. Departure
14,000.
frequency is 124.45 squawk tree 007. Waypoints Aviation tree 20 cleared to Seep Airport is filed. Takeoff runway tree 0 left, climb and maintain 14,000 feet. Departure on 124.45 squawk tree 007. Waypoints Aviation tree 20
3007 in
Contact ground on 118 tree 5 when ready to taxi. Good day.
all right, 11835 and ready for taxi. So make sure, so my co-pilot has tuned in 118.35. So the clearance that they gave us was a climb up to flight level 140, which I dialed in there, and they said that our departure frequency is going to be 124.45, which I've kept on the standby. And they also said my squawk today is going to be 3007, which I dialed in. So that's, and then of course my co-pilot read that back to them correctly, and yeah, so we're pretty much ready to go now. All we have to do is just complete the rest of our formalities, which is now going to be programming the MCDU. So I know what runway they want me to use, and I know the departure I'm going to be doing. So let's get right into it. So the first thing we do is we come to flight management guidance system, go to data, aircraft status, checking the aircraft, checking the engines, they're correct, and my database is very much valid. Now I go to the init page, and we're going from omdb/ooms, and we're going to put that there. Our alternate today is Oscar Mike Foxtrot Juliet Fujairah. Our flight number today will be WP A320. Put that in there. Cost index is 25. My expecting cruise level is flight level 210. Ground temperature today is 39 degrees. Yep, it's very much summer in Dubai right now. Okay, so that's pretty much set up right over there. Now the next thing we're going to do is, as we refer to our flight plan, we're going to start programming it in. So if you want to know how to program the MCDU, I do have a special video on that, and I'll leave a link to that as well in the description below, so you can follow along with that. But as of right now, I know that as per my flight plan, I'm going to be going over on runway 30 left. So first thing we do, flight plan, OMDB, departure, 30 left, and we're using the ANVIX 7 Foxtrot. So ANVIX 7 Foxtrot, and there's no transitions. And whenever you do that, you open up constraints, you go to plan mode, you go 40 miles, and as you program in your flight plan, you're going to see all your waypoints start to get populated. So I've selected what I need. I'm going to reconfirm 30 left, ANVIX 7 Foxtrot, insert. Now what I want to do is cycle all the way. Remember, to scroll down, you have to go up. So you have to use this button, not this one. It'll go backwards. Think of it like an iPhone. To go down, to scroll down, you gotta flick upwards. Same thing in the MCDU. So as I scroll, there's ANVIX, all right, right at the very end of my flight plan. So from ANVIX, I am jumping onto the Lima 223 airway. So let's put that in. So how do we enter an airway? We go into ANVIX, we go to airways, and we put Lima 223, put it there. We're going to exit that at a waypoint called Tardy, T-A-R-D-I, Tardy. From Tardy, we're going to jump onto another airway, which is the November 629, and that's going to exit at a waypoint called Muscat, M-U-S-U-K. From Muscat, we're going to jump onto another airway called the Tango 511, and we're going to take that all the way to MCT, put that in there, and then I'm going to, after that, it's pretty much done, and then it's direct to the runway from there. So insert. So MCT, by the way, is a VOR that sits right over the airport in Oman, so in Muscat. So that's my flight plan right over there. Okay, all the waypoints, and as you can see, as I scroll, you know, I can scroll along, and there's MCT right there. Now at the end of that flight plan, my expected runway is 08 left, so I'm just going to put that, arrival, ILS 08 left. Now I'm going to go via MCT, so you can't find MCT here because this is just for stars. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to go, there we go, MCT, via MCT. All right, so ILS 08 left via MCT, insert. And now as I go along, you can see that the flight plan is going to take me all the way to Muscat. Now once I get to Muscat, MCT is right over there, and then we basically fly outbound, turn around, and then join the ILS to come back in for the landing. All right, total track miles is 242. All right, now I go to secondary flight plan, copy active, and what I want to do is I want to change, so from the time I take off, in case something goes wrong, probably around the waypoint Ulago is when I can probably turn around and then straight away come back to the airport, come back to Dubai. So here's Ulado. From Ulado, I'm gonna put OMDB as my new destination, and now I'm gonna choose an ILS for 30 left, no stars, and as you can see right there in white, that's my secondary flight plan, immediate return back to Dubai in case I have an emergency. All right, now I come to the RadNav page. I don't have to tune the VORs because there are no VORs here in the UAE. in Dubai at least. So I'm going to keep them as auto tune. The ILS frequency is correct and the course is correct for the runway. So now I go to the init B page by using the side arrows. I go to the B page, and today my zero fuel weight is going to be 61.7. So my zero fuel weight today is 61.7. I'm sorry, my mistake. My zero fuel weight is 51.7, not 61, 51.7. And my CG today is 31.1. All right, put that in there. The block fuel that I'm taking is 6.7 tons. Is it 6.7 tons? Yes, 6.7. Put it in there. Now automatically that's gonna do some calculations, and it's gonna show me now my estimated landing weight, 56 tons, and I've got an extra 2.3 tons of fuel on board as well. And the destination at destination I could expect to have about 1.9. Looking great. So now all I have to do is my calculations for my fuel, or for my V speeds, which is going to be a flaps 1 slash, my trim today is up 0.5. I can take a flex temperature of 68. My speeds are going to be 149, 149, and 152. Thrust reduction acceleration will stay the same. And that's it. The MCDU now is programmed. So everything's looking good right there. So now I just come back up here, arc, come back to about 10 miles so I can see the thing correctly. And now it's just about briefing the first officer, getting ready, closing the doors, which we can do right now. And then we're going to request push and start. Okay, so I'll get back to you when all of that's happening. Stand by. Alrighty, so everything's done pretty much. They've closed the doors, and the aircraft is pretty much now secured and ready for departure. So what I want to do now is a very quick cockpit preparation checklist. So on this checklist, gear pins and covers, they're removed. Fuel quantity is checked, 6.7 tons. Seatbelt signs, they are on. The ADIRSs, all three of them are in nav, and I can cross check that over here on the IRS monitor. All three are nav. Looking good. Next would be the barrel reference 1009 set on my side, on the standby, and the first officer's side. So that's the cockpit preparation checklist completed. We can also do a before start checklist now. So parking brake is currently set. The takeoff speeds and thrust is set, thrust setting is set, and the takeoff speeds are in the box, as you can see on the MCDU as well, right over there. Windows and doors are closed and cross-checked over there. The beacon is on, and yep, so that's the before start checklist complete. So now all I have to do is initiate a push. So hopefully it works. Hopefully the system is going to behave, and we'll see how it goes.
Cockpit to ground. This is ground. Stand by.
Cool voice. I can actually see the truck coming in. Yeah, there he is, getting ready to push us. You never know what to expect with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Is he gonna say something? Right. Where'd he go? He must still be getting into position underneath the aircraft. Let's wait and see.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed, and all ground equipment is removed.
Cool.
The parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Alright, he's gonna lift the aircraft.
Lifting the aircraft.
Gonna see us rise a little bit. There we go. Cool. Now he's ready to push.
Standing by for pushback.
Alright. right, so now what we want to do is going to request our push and start from the gate. And so Dubai ground, Waypoints Aviation is at gate Foxtrot 9, ready for push and start. So they're going to come back and tell us push and start facing east. So that's the direction, nose to the left. So that's what I'm going to tell this guy now, and we're going to go ahead and start this push. So going to hit, see how this goes now.
Cockpit to ground.
Go ahead.
We are cleared for start and push. Parking brake set.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
Okay, parking brake is off.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
Yeah, we'll start in the sequence.
Alright, so he's cleared us to start our engines as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come down here, and this goes to ignition start. I'm going to start engine number 2. So that's engine number 2. Here we go, up and forward, and we're just going to monitor those parameters now. N2 is rising, looking for about 22-23% N2. Fuel flow is starting, EGT is rising, everything's looking good. When that gray box disappears, that's when I'll know the pushback is the engine start is done. So we're looking for the gray box to disappear, and there we go, gray box is gone, and we have a good start. Starting number 1 now, up and forward, same thing, gonna start number 1. This time he seems to be doing a good job pushing me back. Last time he pushed me right into another airplane. This time seems to be okay. Alright. That should do it.
Pushback completed. Please set your parking brake.
Alright. Parking brakes on.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Ground. Startup is complete. You may disconnect.
Roger. Good engine start. Clear to disconnect. See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Alpha ready to taxi IFR. Holding position, waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Taxi to and hold short of runway 30 left via taxiway Zulu Whiskey Zulu Zulu 17 Kilo Kilo 15 Alpha. Contact tower on 118.75 when ready.
Alright.
Taxiing hold short runway 30 left using taxiway Zulu Whiskey Zulu Zulu 17 Kilo Kilo 15 Alpha Waypoints Aviation tree 20.
Okay, so my genius first officer.
Alpha 6. Papa Lima Zulu taxi to the gate.
My genius first officer requested taxi clearance now, and they went and gave it to us. So that's what you can expect with Microsoft Flight Simulator. Okay, no worries, I've got my taxi clearance. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm going to proceed with my after start flow items. So the first thing I'm gonna do is this goes to normal, the speed brakes, reset rudder trim, and I'm gonna go flaps 1, which is our flaps for today. Flaps are moving. Alright, and I'm gonna set our trim, just shake the side stick, and I'm gonna go trim up 0.5 today. Alright, trim is set, And what we can do now is an after start checklist. Anti-ice is not required. ECAM status, gonna bring that up. Status is all systems are normal. Pitch trim 0.5 set, which is about 31%. And rudder trim is neutral. Okay, so that's the after start checklist complete. And next thing to do, I'm gonna just do a quick flight controls check. So while I'm on this, I'm just gonna go full up, full down, neutral, full left, full right, neutral. I'm gonna get on the rudder pedals, and while I do that, I'm just gonna hold down on the disconnect, and I'm gonna go full left on the rudder pedals, full right on the rudder pedals, neutral. All right, so that's the flight controls checked. So now we can go ahead and do our taxi checklist. Gonna just complete that, takeoff memo, and pretty much everything should be good to go. So flight controls checked. Flap settings are config 1+F set. Radar and predictive wind shear, I can turn that on now. And altitude reporting on. TCAS is in standby. I'll go to TARA just before I take off. And engine mode selector is normal. And ECAM memo is takeoff, no blue items. So the taxi checklist is complete. All right, all we have to do now is head on down towards the runway. So what we do is we turn on the nose light to taxi. Oh, and by the way, part of the flow is also you turn this to normal, arm the speed brakes, reset rudder trim, flap setting, and then you're supposed to come up here, actually turn off the APU bleed because you don't need the APU anymore. Check if you need anti-ice and then activate anti-ice as required, and then APU master off. All right, so that's how that works. APU master is now off. It'll take 2 minutes for the APU to cool down. Now we can taxi because I've got things right. So nose to taxi, runway turn off on, and away we go. So left hand on the tiller, and just going to adjust my seat a little bit. And parking brake comes off now. And they said to taxi down using Zulu then kilo. So I'm just going to go ahead and give us just a little bit of thrust. Just about 30% of thrust is more than enough. 30%. Aircraft starts to roll. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to squeeze the brakes as a brake check, and the pressure stays at 0. So now we're just going to go right ahead and taxi down towards the runway. So I'm just going to get onto the outer taxiway in just a minute using this one right over here. All right, clear on the left, clear on the right, using the tiller. Nice. And pretty much it's a long taxi all the way down to kilo 15 alpha. So I've got about 15 knots ground speed. That's looking good. Alright, so I'm just going to continue my taxi and I'm going to get back to you guys once I'm ready to line up. Okay? See you soon.
A few moments later.
Alright, here we are. We're just about to start our turn towards kilo 15 alpha. right at the very end. Or was it kilo 16? We'll line up at kilo 16. All right, here we go, kilo 16. And I'm just gonna hold short just of those lines over there, and then I'm going to basically do my final checklist and then tell the tower that I'm ready to go. In the meantime, I can actually tell the cabin crew, be seated for takeoff. Thank you. All right, here we go. Hold short. Runways identified, 30 left. We're gonna hold there, set the parking brake, and I'm gonna do my lineup checklist. So takeoff runway is confirmed, 30 left, confirmed. TCAS can now go to TA and RA. Make sure altitude reporting is on, system auto, all good, weather radar is on. And pack 1 and 2, we're going to keep packs 1 and 2 on for takeoff, so nothing to change there. All right, so that pretty much does all of the checklists for now. So all I have to do now is basically stow my tray table away, put my iPad just right there in the corner, and now I'm gonna ask my genius first officer to get us clearance. So let's see. Okay, I believe we're on the tower frequency 118.75. That's correct. And now we're going to request taxi clearance from the tower.
Tower waypoints Aviation tree 20 and runway tree 0 left, ready for departure. IFR to see.
Waypoints Aviation tree 20 QNH29.80 wind 278 at 10. Cleared for takeoff runway tree 0 left.
Cleared for takeoff runway tree 0 left, waypoints Aviation tree 20.
All right, cleared for takeoff, 30 left. So strobes can go to auto or on. I'm just gonna put them on. Landing lights come on. Nose light to takeoff. Buzz the crew. All right, let's go. Parking brakes off, and let's give about 30%. And 1. And we're just going to make sure that we're clear on all sides. So we're clear on the left of the runway, clear on the right as well. Looking at the TCAS, nothing inbound. So just gonna line her up. This never gets old. All right, on the runway, 30 left is identified. Nicely lined her up. Okay, next thing to do now is left hand on the side stick, a little bit of forward pressure, and let's go ahead for takeoff. It's going to be a roll-in start, so advance thrust levers to 50%. Stabilized, here we go. Manflex 68, SRS runway, auto thrust blue.
Inbound ILS runway tree 0 left approach. Airbus Alpha 6, Alpha X-ray Lehman Tower. QNH 29.80.
Using rudder pedals, keep her in the center.
Cleared ILS runway tree 0 left approach.
100 knots, side stick comes back to neutral.
Cleared ILS runway tree 0 left approach. Airbus Alpha X-ray Lehman.
Okay, there's V1, hand off the thrust lever and rotate. Gonna bring the side stick back. And here we go. Up, up, and away. Now we're gonna follow our flight directors. We have nav. Okay, looking good. Positive rate. Landing gear up.
Aviation tree 20 contact departure on 124.45.
124, okay.
124.45 2.45 waypoints aviation tree 20.
All right, that's us.
Departure waypoints aviation tree 20 is at 1,200 feet, climbing 14,000 feet.
Waypoints aviation tree 20, departure QNH 29.80, continue to DB 570 as planned.
Okay, Delta Bravo 570. Okay, we got lever climb, so that means
0 knots.
climb. Trust climb, auto trust white. 140 blue. Okay, 140 blue, trust climb, auto trust white. All right, now I'm just giving small input just to keep her steady here, and now autopilot can come on. Okay, we got AP1, and we're basically just gonna continue on with our climb. So if we zoom out a little bit, so it's here, and then here. So Delta Bravo 570, then to Delta Bravo 586. We've got a speed restriction of 180 knots, which is why the constraints are keeping us at 180. So we can't clean up yet. It's only when I cross the S that I can go flaps up, but that's okay. Yep, right over the Dubai dry docks. Port Rashid just down there. There's the World Islands, there's the Palm Jumeirah, and very soon you're gonna see downtown Dubai come into view as well. In fact, there it is, just the tip of downtown Dubai is coming in as well. Alright, I'm faster than my S speed, so I can now go flaps up. When you do that, disarm the spoilers. The two outer lights can go off. And we don't have an after takeoff climb checklist anymore. Airbus did away with that, so basically we just we're good. But what I would check is if I had turned the packs off during takeoff, I would now turn them back on so that the you know, passengers can breathe. So I can confirm pack 1, pack 2 off. Okay.
124.85 for waypoints aviation tree 20. Emirates Center waypoints aviation tree 20 is passing 7,700 feet, climbing 14,000 feet.
Waypoints aviation tree 20, Emirates Center QNH 29.79, continue to DB 587 as planned.
Okay, Delta Bravo 587. In fact, now we're going to go over to another waypoint. So once we, okay, so we're less than 2 miles from Delta Bravo 587. We're pretty much nicely settled in on this SID. It's a managed climb, so yeah, we'll keep within the restrictions. But anyway, our restrictions are just below, not on the higher side, so we're pretty much good. Now I've just crossed 10,000 feet, so 10,000 checks. Main landing lights can go off. And if the weather is good, I could probably now turn off the seatbelt signs. And yep, gonna go airport and airport on that. Things are looking good, all systems are looking fine. Doesn't look like I have any emergencies, so I'm gonna come over, secondary flight plan, and copy active. And that's about it. Next thing I'm waiting for is them to clear me to a higher altitude. That's not us. They're talking to somebody else. So yeah. Once you get to this part of the UAE, as far as your eye can see, it's just desert, and then further down in the southeast, you'll start to see the Rocky Mountains coming into view, and it looks like we got some low layers of clouds in the mountains. Okay, 210.
Flight level 210, keep speed not above 230 knots, waypoints aviation tree 20.
Okay, so 210, and they want us to keep our speed at 230, so I'm gonna go selected, make it 230. All right, so thrust climb, open climb, 210 blue, speed selected 230, and QNH is flashing, which means we've crossed our transition level. So now we can go pull, and now we're in standard QNH. And that's about it, more or less. This is how we do a takeoff and follow out on the SID. Once we get to Anvix, which is after Ulado, we've got Lopuv and then Anvix. So once you get to Anvix, that's when we're pretty much out of this SID. Okay, crossing flight level 180 now. And since I'm heading over to the mountainous area, it's going to turn on the terrain radar as well. And by the way, when I get to Oman, it's going to be mountainous as well, so good to have that on. And yeah, let's take her up to 210. Almost there. Once I get to 210 and I'm out of this waypoint here, I'm just gonna go free speed, because that's a limitation with the Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. It takes the waypoint speeds and it kind of keeps you there, doesn't give you free speed after that. So I'm going to assume everything's okay. I'm going to go back to, since I am now at flight level 200 for 210, I'm going to go ahead and manage my speed, and I'm going to let this thing climb up to 250. Actually, now it's going to go to 302, indicated. My current ground speed is 340 knots, so, and climbing, so at least I won't die of old age before I get to Oman. 211 track miles to go. Yay. All right, so let's see how this goes. Yep, here's the mountain range that I was telling you about. We call this area Hatta, and yeah, so this mountain range extends all the way right down to that part of that's the Arabian Sea, by the way. So the Arabian Sea is in the coastline that I just took off from, and this coastline, basically, if you follow right along that coastline, it'll take you all the way to a little city called Sohar, which belongs to Oman, and then on to Muscat. And then if you keep flying along, you eventually reach the Indian Ocean. So that's that bit of the Arabian Sea. So yeah, that's coming along nicely, and it's always beautiful. I mean, I'm in a simulator, but the cool thing about Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 is it does add an amazing level of realism here. So I have to say, I like it. I really, really like it. Yeah, so just basically monitoring everything. Fuel on board 4.9, looking good. Checking our systems. All systems are good. All engine parameters are okay and in the green. Bleed is good. Pressurization is good. Cabin altitude is just 2,500 feet. Electrical systems are nice. Hydraulics slightly low on the green pump, but nothing to cause any excuse me, nothing to cause any concern, so we're good there. Fuel nicely balanced out. APU shutdown, conditioning panel, let's make it a little cooler for them, shall we? I'm gonna set this, so using this I'm gonna reduce my cockpit temperature to about 21 degrees. Yep, I can do the same for the rest. Cool the temperatures. And all doors obviously closed. Wheel pages are locked. Temperatures, yep, so they're a little warm, but they'll cool down. And flight controls looking good. So yeah, all systems are go on this aircraft as we head out towards Oman. We're settled in now on our cruising altitude of flight level 210. We've got a ground speed of 435 knots. Distance is 192 track miles to go. We're estimating to reach at UTC 1008. So yeah, looking good. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna grab something to eat. I suggest you do the same. Relax, and I'll get back to you when I'm getting close to my top of descent. All right, I'll see you guys then. All right, so just a little update. We are still in cruise at flight level 210, coming up over a very cloudy Oman airspace, and we've just transferred over to Muscat Center, and so yeah, that's who we're talking to right now. We've still got about 161 miles to go. Fuel reserves are looking good, and if I zoom out a little bit more, you can see that our expected top of descent is just slightly before Muscat. Now what I like to do is I like to come over here on the flight plan page, and I want to go to the fix info selection, and Oscar Mike Sierra is my reference. That's Oman. I want to put an inbound radio of let's see, 264, so 086, and I want to make a radius of 100 nautical miles. Okay, so what that does is it draws a nice little circle around Oman airport for me. Let me turn this off. See that? Draws a nice little blue circle, 100-mile circle around Oman. So now as I get closer to that circle, once I'm through it, I know I'm gonna be less than 100 miles from Oman physically. Now the next thing I'd like to do is I want to tune in the ATIS. So as soon as the ATIS is available, I'd like to listen to it. So it's 126.8 is the ATIS frequency. Now to do that, I'm going to use another channel. So I want to keep transmitting on VHF1, and I'll be listening to VHF1, but I want to do the ATIS on VHF2. So I bring up VHF2, and then I select this so that I can stream VHF2 to my speakers as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 126.8. all right, and I'm going to transfer that. Now there's nothing playing so far, but as soon as I'm in range of that ATIS, it's going to start playing, and I'll be able to pick up the ATIS information and note it down, so I'll know what runway to expect. And yeah, so let's see how that goes. Alright, we just got our descent to flight level 130, so we're gonna go ahead and put 13,000. They asked us to descend to 13,000, so 13,000, and pull thrust idle, open descent, 130 blue, set up. So generally I should be able to pick up my ATIS information at about 30 to 40 miles away from destination. So for now, they came up early and they said to start our descent, so well, I'm just gonna follow them. So we've set it up and we're starting the descent. Very soon I should be able to come into range. Looking over here, I'm about 65 miles, direct miles from Muscat. So yeah, let me go back to my plan page here, take any waypoint, fix info, and I'm gonna change the ring which I put for 40 miles to, I'm gonna change it to 30. Oh, actually I'll make it 35 miles. So there we go, there's my 35-mile ring around Muscat. Around that time is when I can expect to get the ATIS. Now I do have a chart open, and it looks like the transition, here we go, that's my ATC. Okay, information hotel.
Information Hotel 0.
All right, I'm gonna switch that off so that it doesn't keep playing. All right, so now we have information hotel. We know that the temperature is 38 degrees and the winds are 268 at 10 knots. Was it 268 at 10 knots? Let me just play that one more time.
Waypoints Aviation tree.
All right.
Keep speed not above 210 knots. Expect 4DME runway 26 right approach via Mike Charlie Tango transition clear to Mike Charlie Tango waypoints aviation tree 20.
Okay, so they've given us our approach. We're expecting an ILS for runway 26 right via Mike Charlie Tango. So that's pretty much what I was expecting after listening to the ATIS. So flight plan, we're gonna change this now because we put 08 left. So that arrival, I'm gonna choose ILS 26 left via the MCT. So MCT, Mike Charlie Tango, 26 right, MCT selected. I'm gonna insert that now, and they've also cleared us to go direct to MCT from this point on. So insert. All right, I'm gonna go heading and I'm going to insert that, and then I'm gonna go direct to Mike Charlie Tango, insert. Now they said that the QNH is the QNH they gave to me again in millibars, so 2978, and then that would be QNH 1008 and QNH 1008 set and set. And because we are below transitional flight level, which is 150, I'm setting the QNH now. All right, so we pretty much got our flight plan. So let's discuss this. Let's brief this. All right, so as you can see, the approach into Oman takes us onto an ILS for runway 26 right via Mike Charlie Tango. So what we're going to do is the frequency is by the way, I'm referring to plate number 11-2. The frequency is 110.7, which is on the RadNav, 110.7. It's identified as India Mike Romeo. It is India Mike Romeo. Okay.
Waypoints Aviation tree 20, descend and maintain 7,000 feet.
7,000 it is. So coming
Descend
down
and
to
maintain 7,000 feet waypoints aviation tree 20.
all right, 7,000, and I'm going to do 9.
Tree 20, descend and maintain 6,000 feet.
Oh, 6,000. All right,
Descend
6,000.
and maintain 6,000 feet waypoints aviation tree 20.
All right, so descent 6,000 blue.
Climb and maintain 11,000 feet.
Alrighty, so as I was doing my briefing, so it's going to be an ILS for runway 26 right, plate 11-2. The ILS is checked. I can bring on the ILS screens now, and you can see it is 110.7. India Mike Romeo is confirmed. All right, this approach starts at the MCT VOR 6,000 feet onto then we fly out 13.5 miles from MCT, where we will make at a heading. All right, write that, outbound MCT, and then we're going to make a right-hand turn descending to 3,400, and then finally our final approach fix is at 2,200, where we will descend down to our minimums of 229. So I'm going to program that into the box. So I'm going to go to performance. Next phase, QNH is 1008 today. Temperature is, what was the temperature? 38. Winds are 268 at 10. And our decision height will be 229 as per the ILS. So yeah, that's pretty much everything set up. Looking at the airport screen, the runway is 13,123 feet, so I can expect to exit at Yankee 4, so that's going to be low auto brakes for this approach. Looking good. All right, let me get back to you when we're further down into our approach.
Tree 20. Muscat approach waypoints aviation tree 20 is passing 10,200 feet, descending 6,000 feet.
Waypoints Aviation tree 20, Muscat approach QNH 29.77, continue to Mike Charlie Tango as planned.
All right. right, so we're still unbound to Mike Charlie Tango, which is where we're going right now. Mike Charlie Tango, we're less than 15 miles away. I've programmed in the approach as well, and everything's looking good. So on our progress page, I'm gonna put Oscar Mike Sierra 26 right. That's my runway. Gonna put that there. And so it looks like we're probably not gonna reach Mike Charlie Tango by 6,000. Let me see what it says over here. 6,000 are constraint, and I'm slightly below my profile. I'm slightly above my profile, I mean. So what now? Roger that. This expediting my descent. So I'm just gonna get the speed brakes going about halfway, and that's gonna help us descend a little bit faster onto my profile. Now that I've gone below 10,000 feet, I'm gonna go ahead, turn on the retractable landing lights. Seatbelt signs can come on now. I'm gonna go constraints, and yep, everything looks good so far. I've caught up with my profile, so I know I'm gonna reach MCT by the 6,000 by the time I'm at MCT. So I can go ahead and store the speed brakes now, making sure I stay on my altitude profile. On progress, I'm just 11 feet above, so it's looking all right. It's looking okay. I am currently 35 track miles away from touchdown. When I get to 15 track miles is when I'm going to activate the approach phase, and I'm going to start decelerating the aircraft, configuring my flaps, deploying my flaps and so on. And there's the airport right over there. There's Muscat International Airport, and we're just going to go. The VOR is pretty much right there over the center of the runway, so we're going to go outbound there to that point right there, turn around, come back in, and land on runway 26 right, which is this runway right over here. Kind of interesting that I'll be touching down there in just a few minutes, and here I am about 6,000 feet above it. But yeah, that's flying. Alrighty. 3,300 it is. So 3,000, gonna make it into hundreds, make it 3,300, and I'm going to pull. All right, thrust idle, open descent, 3,300 blue, and here we go. Still on profile, so that's looking good. Our next waypoint is going to be 3,300. So what I can do is I can actually do this as managed. So speed descent alt magenta 3,400 will be a limitation. So, but since they've cleared us to go beyond or below 3,400, we're not going to do manage. We're just going to go open descent, and we're going to go straight down, ignoring the constraints, because that's what the air traffic control has told us. So yeah, we'll keep that going. And yeah, looks good so far. Coming up on 25 track miles to go. Very soon I'm going to be activating the approach phase and starting to slow this aircraft down. So I've got a question for you guys. Are any of you pilots either commercial or private? And if so, let me know in the comments below, what do you fly? And and how long have you been flying, and what's your total flying time? And if you want to share some crazy stories, please go ahead. I'd love to take that to the comment section and just, you know, interact with all of you. I do read every single comment that comes onto our videos, and I do my best to reply to every single one. So let's go ahead and just tell me, are you a real world pilot? And whether you fly a Cessna or you fly a 747, you're still a pilot in my eyes. So let me know what you fly, and let's get that going. And if you're not a pilot but you're looking to become a pilot, if you have any questions, stand by. All right.
Tower on 129.575 waypoints aviation tree 20.
All right, wait.
Muscat Tower waypoints aviation tree 209 miles east inbound 4DME runway 26 right approach.
Waypoints Aviation Tree 20 Muscat Tower. QNH 29.77 wind 018 at 9er. Cleared for DME runway 26 right approach.
All right, he's clearing us for the approach.
Runway 26 right approach waypoints aviation tree 20.
Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is, since I'm about 15 miles, 16 miles, I'm gonna go ahead, activate the approach phase. That's gonna bring my speeds down below my maximum VFE for flap 1, and I'm gonna go ahead and engage flaps 1. I can now do a very quick approach checklist. Barrel reference is set 1008, 3 sides. Seatbelt signs are on. Minimums is set to 229 as per the chart, and auto brakes low is selected. Engine mode selector is normal. The approach checklist is complete. All that's left is the landing checklist. I've got flaps 1. I am turning now back towards final. So what I'm going to do now is engage flaps 2 selected. Flaps are moving, and I'm going to, since he cleared me for the approach, I'm going to arm the localizer and glide slope by pushing the approach button, followed by the second autopilot. So that's Cat 3 dual, autopilot 1+2, everything set up and ready. So yeah, as I was saying, if you want to become a pilot, then feel free to ask us any questions, you know, because I'm pretty sure there are some pilots in the group. We'll be happy to answer your questions and, you know, guide you along on how you can make that journey a reality, or make that dream a reality. And I've been doing this for 21 years. I started flying when I was 19. I turn 40 next week. Actually, not next week. I'm recording this on Friday the 18th. On Thursday the 18th. On Sunday the 21st, I turn 40. So yeah, it's been 21 years that I've been flying, and I absolutely love it. I love it more than I can tell you. So if you plan to become a pilot in the future, go for it. Even if it's just becoming a private pilot and flying as a hobby, trust me, it's addictive. It's a drug. I cannot get enough of this. I love it. It's more today than the first day that I started flying. So okay, I've got lock star, so I'm about to join the ILS. I'm in the process now of capturing the ILS. Glide slope is 1 bar above center, so that's a good time for gear down. Flaps 3. Arm the speed brake. The remaining 2 lights come on. Cabin crew, please be seated. And that should do that. So now I'm in the process of almost capturing the localizer. There we go, we've captured the localizer. Now we'll go to glide slope star once this guy comes up in the center, and we'll start following our descent. There's glide slope star. We're starting to follow the descent. All right, part of my briefing is the missed approach procedure. Climb on runway heading, intercept to follow runway 290 MCT, and then turn right to follow 17 DME arc MCT, and then turn right to follow a radial of 326 degrees MCT inbound. Climb into 6,000 and hold. So now that I've just captured the glide slope, GS is confirmed. The go around altitude is 6,000, which I'm gonna set right there. And I'm just waiting for 2,000 feet, and then I'm gonna go ahead and select flaps full, and then I'll do the landing checklist. So we're inbound now towards the airport. We're pretty much fully set up on this approach, straight down. I've got my missed approach set. I've got my auto brake selected. Everything's done. So time to put the iPad away, store the tray table for the landing, and I'm gonna keep my taxi chart ready for when I exit, so that I can know exactly where my gate is, because I've been known to get lost at airports. Just joking, but it has happened. So yeah. Alright, now's a good time to put my hands and feet on my controls, feet on the rudder pedals, hand on the side stick, other hand on thrust levers. And I'm just waiting for 2,000 feet AGL, and then I'm gonna do my landing checklist. There's a runway straight ahead. I wonder if you can see it, but it's right there. and we got a slight crosswind today, but it's not that bad. It's like just 9 knots, so it's okay. It's manageable. And yeah, so far so good. We've got some terrain in the area right over there. That's these mountains right over here. Some of them are as high as 2,200 feet. Nice. And yep, here we go, coming up on 2,000. There's 2,000. Flaps full. There's flaps full, and I've got the landing checklist coming up right there. Landing checklist. ECAM memo is landing, no blue. Landing, no blue items. Landing checklist is completed. We're good to go. So at this point now,
Aviation 320, wind 018 at 9er. Clear to land runway 26 right.
018
Clear
at
to land
9er.
runway 26 right.
Alright, that's
Aviation
updated.
320.
Alright, clear to land. Excellent. We're clear to land. Hopefully no traffic comes in and causes me to go do a go around. Yeah, everything's good. Stable on our approach. Fully configured. Nothing to do apart from just land. So let me go ahead and disconnect the autopilot. Double press. Alright, Cat 1. So I am now hand flying the aircraft. The beauty of the Airbus, it's so stable that just very little input is required to keep it on the flight director. So at this point I can see the runway.
1,000.
There's 1,000. Checked. I'm just trying to keep it on the flight director. Small, gentle inputs to take me in. I will be using maximum reverses to help me slow down and exit. Alright, I do have an aircraft on TCAS right over there. Hopefully he's not going to do anything stupid. He's about 500 feet above me, so should be okay. He's probably going to come to MCT, join the pattern, and then turn around. So I don't see the traffic, but alright. Keep an eye on him.
500.
Slight. Okay, we've had a tailwind crossover.
400.
400 feet. Stable. Land on my FMA. Here we go. We're committed to the landing now.
300.
300 feet.
100 above.
Checked.
200. Minimum.
Continue.
$100.
Okay, looking to the end of the runway. Bring that nose up to about 5
40.
degrees.
20.
And
Retard.
I'm gonna kill the power
5.
flare and land. There we go. We've touched down. A little bit of left rudder. Okay, get it back to center line. Engage full reverses. What am I doing here? Okay, here we go. Back to the center. Sorry, got sidetracked with my camera, but we're back on the center line. There's 60 knots. Spoilers, reverses green, decel. There's 60. Come back to idle reverse. And now we can turn off the auto brakes. Put my hand on the tiller. And I'm just going to run. So once we get down to about taxi speeds, I'm gonna slow it down a little bit.
Aviation 320, turn next taxi.
Full idle. Alright, turn next taxiway. I don't know if it's just me, but I'm not a big fan of the default ATC and Microsoft Flight Sim. I think I'm gonna do my next videos without it, if that's okay with you guys.
Aviation 320, contact ground on 127.875.
Sure, why not?
Going to 127.875 waypoints. Aviation 320.
I'm not a big fan of my first officer either. So alright, I'm gonna hold short right over here. And he's probably gonna get taxi clearance from ATC very soon. Let me hold short right over here. Gonna set the parking brakes. And I'm gonna do... Alright, so he wants me to contact the ground and taxi to the gate. So that's number 2.
Muscat ground waypoints. Aviation 320. Request taxi to the gate.
Waypoints Aviation, tree 20, taxi to gate 105 via taxiway Yankee 4 Tango Victor Sierra.
Taxiing to gate 105 via taxiway Yankee 4 Tango Victor Sierra Waypoints Aviation tree 20.
All right, Whiskey. Okay, 105. So I'm gonna exit onto Whiskey. I can come on Whiskey Alpha and then down to 105. All right, I know where it is. So let's go. Parking brakes off, and let's get going, shall we? So now as I give it some juice, I'm exiting the runway now. Landing lights off. Nose light to taxi. And as I make this turn, flaps can now come up. Disarm the spoilers. TCAS can go back to standby. And we're gonna start the APU. Master and start. And that should do my items, and I'm gonna now go ahead and as I taxi along, I'm gonna do the, let's see, after landing checklist. Radar and predictive wind shear has to go off. That's all it says. So that's here. That goes off. Predictive wind shear and radar goes off. And that should do it. So now we just taxi all the way down straight ahead. I can turn off the terrain radar as well. Flight director's off. Landing screen's off. That should reset the FMGS system for me. And we're just going to continue straight down on Victor. And then we'll make a right turn at Whiskey Alpha, if I'm not mistaken, onto gate 105, where we should see some ground crew waiting for us. So yeah, guys, that's it. Welcome to Oman. Muscat International. Used to be called Seeb International Airport back in the day, and now it's called Muscat International. It's a beautiful airport, and if you guys ever get the chance to come over to Muscat, to Oman, please do so. The people are warm and friendly. The weather is good. They have a little town called Salalah, like I told you in the previous video, and it's a beautiful, beautiful place. They get beautiful summer rains, and it's just an amazing place. And from what I understand, it's even not that expensive, to do a little vacation here. So much to see, beautiful mountains, beautiful oceans, white sand beaches, you name it, they have it. Lots of diving, if any of you are into that kind of stuff. So yeah, welcome to Oman, one of my favorite countries here in the Middle East. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please click like, and if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing, because from here I'm going on to Yemen, and then on to other airports in my list. So yeah, that's gonna be fun. And this was my first video in a series of around the world in the 320. So I learned a lot, and I think I'm gonna make some changes for the next video, which is gonna make it a lot more smoother and better for you guys. So yeah, here we go. Here's Whiskey Alpha. I'm gonna make a right over here into Sierra, and gate 105 is what the gentleman told me. So let's make a turn. APU is available, so APU bleed can now come on. Keep that air conditioning going. Alright, I see them. They're right over there. Here's 106. Slowing it down. I'm about to turn towards the gate, so lights off. And give a little bit of thrust. Just want to creep in there as gently as possible. How you doing? I'm gonna walk away when I'm talking to you. Alright, never mind. How you doing? Alright, no worries. Straight in. Okay, round about here should be good. Would have been nice to have a marshaller, but no worries. Okay, set. Parking brake on. Alright, APU is available and active. So, shutting down engine number 1. Shutting down engine number 2. That's the clicking sound is the electrical bus system transferring over from the main generators to the APU. Alright, both engines are below 10%. I can go ahead now and turn off the beacon and seatbelt signs. Disarm the emergency as well. And that's gonna help the ground crew. Give them a thumbs up. They're gonna bring the gate. And they're gonna start opening my doors and preparing for disembarkation and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, welcome to Oman, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this video. And from here we're going to Yemen, which is a beautiful country, but it's also sadly a country that's currently facing war. Why am I going there? Because it's a country in the Middle East and I respect that, and I don't have to worry about war in Flight Simulator. So I'm going to take you there. It's also a high altitude airport, and that's gonna I'll give you more details in the next video about it. So yeah, thank you so much for coming along. Please give me your comments in the subscription, not in the subscription, well, subscribe. Sorry, I'm just blabbering right now. I must be a little bit tired. Like the video if you did, if you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends if you think it's going to be useful, and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed. Consider subscribing, please. It really helps us, helps the algorithm find out about us. And yeah, let me know in the comments below what you think about this flight, and if there's anything I can do to make it better, make it more fun, make it more interesting for you. Go ahead, I will listen, and I will take into consideration anything I consider that's good advice. So thank you so much for coming along. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. God bless you all, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.